Hey, good afternoon. Welcome to the Cruise Amigos. The Cruise Amigos are back. Well, two of us are back. The third amigo, he's not back.
He's not back.
He is getting ready to go on a ship. I think he's on the Virtuosa. Anyway?
So I just want to know: is he on the left side or the right side with his oar?
I don't know. Probably knowing Martin, he'd be on the left side.
He'd be on the left side because he doesn't even vote right. So okay, all right. That's funny.
All right, back to silliness. So
silly? What do you mean? This
John.
This is a serious news and reporting show, and we're just right on. And the most important thing is, what spices did they use on your steak?
That's true. That's very important stuff.
Yes.
Mike says he's slacking. Yes, he's slacking, but that's not unusual. I see Hot Air Tom is with us. Hot Air Tom has mailed me my car keys.
Nice.
My car keys watched my show yesterday. Hot Air Tom sent a picture of my keys, and while I was interviewing Bubba Schumard yesterday.
Hey, Bubba.
And Hot Air Tom sent me a picture of the keys watching the show, and then he mailed them. So they're on their way. I will have keys back for the car.
Can you explain to us why the keys and the Chillie were separated?
Yes. When I got off the Norwegian Sky that morning, I had made arrangements to meet them at 7 o'clock for breakfast. Hot Air Tom and Cindy, I was meeting for breakfast. I was up at the ridiculous hour, and I was doing stuff on a computer and working, and I was ready to go. I was dressed. I even had my passport and my vaccination card around my neck. I put them on a lanyard, and I said, I'm going to lay down for a minute. I'm going to take a 15-minute power nap. So I'll lay down. And 7:09, the phone rings, and it's Hot Air Tom. Where are you? Oh, crap, I fell asleep. So I jumped up real quick, and like an old guy like me, I had to pee, of course, when you wake up. So I ran to the bathroom, and I took care of business. And I got back, and I'm groggy from having taken a lot longer nap than I expected. And I didn't even think about checking for everything like I always do when I leave the ship. I just jumped on my scooter. I grabbed my computer bag, which I had it all packed and ready to go, stuck it on between my feet on the scooter, and I ran out of the room to get upstairs to have breakfast. I never double checked the safe, which is where my car keys were. I did not discover that I didn't have my car keys until I was in the cab on the way to the hotel to pick up my car, and I realized it then.
So what did you do?
I had another set of keys. I had a backup set in my bag, and I got to I called Hot Air Tom, who was still on the boat, and sent him to the room to see if he could find my guy, my steward.
And I have a person, so you keep telling your story, and I'll be right back.
By the way, John is in his store. He's selling.
Oh, Valerie,
I
am doing a live TV show over in London. I thought you were coming later in the afternoon.
Oh, I can come back.
So anyway,
is that worth 2 o'clock?
He had my.
Thanks, or you can stay and listen, but thanks so much. Okay. Thank you. Well, that's
Anyway,
exciting.
Hot Air Tom had got my keys and mailed them to me.
Got your keys. That's good. That's
If
very
you have
good.
if you have to do this, it would help if you turned the volume off.
Well, I understand. That was not a customer. That was a really nice lady that's going to provide us with all sorts of pizzas and cigarette things and stuff. And I thought she was coming at 3 or 4.
Okay, so tell us what you're doing.
Well, I'm in my store, and I have my guitars behind me because our business is like hurry up and wait. It's like ships going to sea. There's a whole bunch of time when there's people, and then there's a whole bunch of time when there's nothing. So I have 2 guitars and what's called a U bass. It's a ukulele bass guitar, but I have both my nylon string Yamaha silent guitar and a Gibson over here.
So you sit there and can play hard rock while you're selling pot.
Well, I actually can't because my landlord is actually through this wall and another customer is right on the other side of that wall. So I'm more playing really nice Bach and Beethoven and really quiet little do 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 do.
Okay, so you can play Bach and Beethoven while you're selling pot.
Yes, I can. Uh-huh.
Okay.
And actually, it's kind of interesting because people walk in and they all go, no, keep playing. And it's like, no, concerts, I'm in the union. Concerts cost money. Every note is chargeable. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm certainly glad about that.
So anyway, but today, normally, Casey would be running the store, but he and Maria are in Minneapolis right now. And Junior, Alex he can greet people at the door and he can tell them a little bit, but you have to be 21 to be in this business. And so we have a demarcation line there. You see that green, like on the basketball court,
Yeah.
Well, that's, if you're under 21, you can't cross that line. So
that's just, they have some very strange.
Hey, we are very careful that no one underage, at least from our doing, can get a hold of our products. Matter of fact, we had the regional manager of the Highway Patrol for the state in here this week. He was here for about 2 hours. Really had a wonderful conversation, and he realizes how adamant we are about these not falling into the wrong people's hands. We won't sell you if you appear drunk, intoxicated, or anything. I mean, just come back another day. It's not about making that one more sale. Yeah. We are very, very particular because we are trying to convince the world that this is a product that really, really helps people. I had a guy in here yesterday. He said he must have been 40, suffers from epilepsy all of his life. He is on no other medication now except he switched over to our gummies. But he's on no other medication than just a tiny, tiny little bit of, our product. And his epileptic seizures have gone from 12 a day down to 1 every 2 or 3 days.
Wow.
Just amazing, huh? And people come in with story after story. Jokingly, I said, but I didn't know I was in the counseling business because, so many of our customers have a story, and it's sort of like I'd rather just sell you something. I didn't know I was here for counseling, because we have to be very careful because we cannot. If you come in and say, "Hey, my shoulder's hurt," well, let's fix it. I can't tell you it will. We are not medical doctors. We are not giving out medical advice in any way, shape, or form. We can tell apocryphal stories, but it's always underscored with the fact that, hey, this is this one guy's experience. So, but it's just awesome. You've had some firsthand experience with our products yourself.
Yes,
we've had about 200 customers now in this month that we've opened, and it's so rewarding. It's just so cool to hear story after story after story of how this product, which, for 70 years was the heathen devil weed that was going to take you on a life of crime and turn every girl into a lady of the evening and whatever, And, you know, we're just hearing story after story about how this gives me relief. I don't have to take opiates. I don't have to take this other medicine because this is all I need to feel good. And wow, what a wonderful thing that is. And now I can ship. I can ship to 48 of the 50 states.
Cool.
How cool is that?
What 2 states can't you ship to?
Well, at the moment, and as we understand from our shipper, because it all happens through a facilitation place. We don't, you know, I don't wrap a box and ship it. Iowa and Utah, of all places. So,
Because there's 4 letters in the name?
you know, that's a good question. I think that the state has specifically passed laws that are not, you know, in line with the United States laws, because our products are made from hemp. They are not made from that other plant. It's the same chemical that comes out of it, but through I don't know if you want to call it a loophole or whatever, you know, all of our products meet the rules for selling hemp. It does not have a concentration higher than what the rules are, even though that concentration is enough for you to have, depending on how much you take, the kind of experience that you want. So it's just bizarre.
All right, now, and if I ask, of course, everybody that's watched this show before knows that I give John hell constantly. I tease John constantly. So I will say this from the standpoint of asking a serious question. And if I ask a question that you can't answer, I'll understand you saying,
Okay.
I can't answer that.
Yes.
Okay. This is not Chillie teasing John. This is Chillie asking some legitimate questions.
Okay.
John, about selling pot. But that's it. Now, one of your products is Gummy Bears.
Yes.
How are they packaged?
Okay, well, here's one.
Okay.
And
That's
it's just like the gummy bear that you would buy from the grocery store, you know, Harbo. Here, I have some right here. It's just like this.
Okay.
Okay, except that it's rolled in sugar, and the sugar helps keep them separate in the bottle.
So it comes in a pill bottle.
Well, and that's because part of the Minnesota law, and that's part of what kind of makes us legal around the United States, is every container is a child-resistant cap.
Okay.
And it's really funny because you know, some people have come back and said, I can't get into it. And we go, yes, it's a child-resistant cap. You have to ask a child. but when we here's an empty open one, but you know, it takes a good pull, and then of course inside is the you know, this little thing that seals on the top, just like Tylenol, so you know that it hasn't been tampered with.
Okay.
And then it also comes with this. This is Desiccant. Do you know what that is? Have you ever used that in your businesses?
That's keep moisture out.
Yes, it's just a little package, and it absorbs any extra moisture or anything. So that's in there, along with, in this case, 10 of these gummies, 10 chocolates. You can see behind me, or here, that's just some pictures. There's white chocolate and dark chocolate.
Okay.
And they are, you know, available to sell to anyone that's over 21 years old and has need of them. If you take a couple of them, you will probably have the same experience as you did as a youngster doing this. If you take one, it'll just lighten your day a little bit. And a lot of people are taking the gummies and dividing them into quarters, actually. And they take a quarter of a gummy about every hour, and that just eases their aches and pains, lets them do their gardening or any kind of thing where you're not driving, you're not on ladders, because it is a brain effect. So, you know, we want all our customers to be here tomorrow and next year. So
how do I say this without, okay, I have taken some pill form of your products. how does the gummy compare to the pills?
Well, I'm really glad you asked, because you have purchased our hemp products or our CBD products. And the thing about CBD is that there's this much CBD and there's this much THC, the marijuana component.
Okay.
Where in these products that we're now legal to sell, there's literally this much CBD and this much THC. So it's just a flip, you see. CBD is a product that often reduces anxiety, makes people feel better, but you could drink it by the glass and it's not going to change your ability to drive or to take walking tests or do that. CBD has no effect like alcohol might. It doesn't do anything like that. It's a wonderful product, and we know what it can do for people that have certain diseases like yourself, that it's an adjunct to regular medical treatment. We don't in any way suggest that it's a replacement for medical treatment. Your doctor is king. But this product it's now legal for me to sell in a variety of bottles, you see. At no time is the concentration more than 1/3 of 1%. So in that gummy, the amount of this product we're talking about is not, by weight, is not more than 1/3 of 1% of that gummy. It's a little tiny thing, as big as a period. But that's enough concentration to give you an effect. Matter of fact, it can give you a total effect of if you went to California and bought the most expensive stuff that you could buy.
Okay. So there's not really an apt comparison to the pills that I've been taking.
Nope.
And
nope.
A gummy.
The pills that you've been taking, as we've been giving them to other people, we believe that they do replace something in a human body that it needed to fight off things, to fight off enemies that have attacked the body. And somehow there's some chemistry in there. We don't quite understand it. What we sent you, if you can see here behind, that's like a shadow box full of buds. I have several of them here from our hemp plants. And for what I sent you is we just basically squeeze them a little bit, and that's to kind of loosen up the CBD oils. And then we actually put them in a wash tub with avocado oil. And avocado oil has got just the right chemical makeup that it draws the CBD out of the plant. Just like osmosis will move things through a membrane, avocado oil is one of the things that will draw the CBD from the plants and put it into the oil. So we end up with an oil. And this is the same as what you had, only I made pills for you because you didn't like that. I didn't like it, but here's the
liquid stuff.
And it's just a liquid, kind of a dark oil. And it, to me, it just tastes like thick. There's cooking oil that's really light, and then there's cooking oil that's kind of heavy. Yeah. And it just tastes kind of like a heavy cooking oil, but it has all of the things that were in the CBD plant have migrated into the avocado oil.
Okay.
And then for people like yourself, we can put it in, we have a little machine that, opens up a capsule, drops the amount in, puts the cap in, and then snaps it shut. And that's on the CBD side of things. If you remember, Charlotte's Web was a big story that was out a few years ago. By the way, sadly, and I did report it on this show, Charlotte herself died last spring of COVID. Just a terrible, sad thing for everybody in the industry but she had a certain kind of epileptic seizures that the CBD thing happened to help. And that was what opened the doors for CBD becoming legal for hemp growers to start growing hemp, because that's where the CBD is. And then that's now migrated to the fact that they figured out that, from that same hemp plant, we can take this product out, and in one of those gummies, it's still not concentrated any more than the law says, but yet That's more than enough. Matter of fact, Minnesota, one gummy can only have 5 milligrams. In the 14 states where it's recreational, one gummy can have 10 milligrams. So we make the joke that it's like 3-2 beer. If you've traveled in states where there's beer and then there's 3-2 beer, well, only Minnesota would do this product, and then 3-2, the 3-2 beer equivalent. So, but it's just bizarre because so if you want to double it, guess what you do?
Take 2.
You take 2. So for me personally, I'm happier that it's 5. I wish we had a 3, because there's a lot of people that we have that cut the 5s in half. Well, be happier to give them a 3. No problem. I'm not into this, concentrated, give you the big thing. We believe in this product as a health benefit for many, many, many people. And we now have literally hundreds of customers that are coming back in. Just when I started the show, before we went online, a gentleman came in. He comes in every couple of days to buy another bottle, and he says he is so happy. And it's not about, he's happy because he can go about he's retired, of course, and he walks, but he can go about his daily business and feel better.
All right. So let's say I'm in Fargo, South Dakota. No,
Fargo, North Dakota. But okay, yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I wanted to order a package of gummies.
Yep.
A bottle of gummies.
Buy 3, the shipping's free.
You serious?
Serious, yeah.
And you can buy 3 at a time?
I can sell you 100 at a time. At the moment, there is no restriction on quantity.
Okay.
Buy 600 and I can go home for the weekend.
What does it cost?
All of the happy products, if we can use that as a definition, okay. There's 10 candies in a bottle, each one of the concentration we talked about, and they cost $23.40, plus we charge the Minnesota sales tax. So it's $25 per bottle. And like I said, buy 3 and the shipping's free.
Now, do you have, if you're shipping them out of state, you still have to charge sales tax?
Well, just like Amazon charges sales tax in every state.
Do they? I didn't know.
Oh yeah. You can't not. For years it was that Amazon wasn't charging tax, but they've been charging me tax for about 2 years now.
Okay.
So it's the situation of if we don't charge tax, we are going to get caught. Each state's tax agency is out looking for people, and the minute you do, you're going to get caught, and then you're either going to lie to them or you're going to open up your books and show them, and then you're going to have to pay that and a fine and interest and everything. So the short story is, just think of it as $25 a bottle, and don't worry about the accounting under there.
So you got to file sales tax forms with legitimately 48 states each month.
Well, the ones we do business with.
Yeah, I mean, assuming that someday we're going to build this thing.
If I have sales in 48 states,
selling...
I'm happy to do the paperwork.
Okay, so 25
Actually,
bucks.
Alex would volunteer to do the accounting, so.
$25 to get happy gummies. So to walk around stoned.
Well, but see, and that's, I know we're having fun, and you're suggesting that, but I'm telling you that way more than half of our customers never get stoned, as you say.
Yeah.
They use this product in a completely different way. But it's fun to
eases the pain.
It really, and it does. I mean, I'm overwhelmed by, and that's the thing. People come in and they say, well, should I buy the CBD or should I buy the other? And I'm saying, we're happy to sell you the CBD. We know that it works on a body level, but you're not going to feel, tomorrow or in an hour, you're not going to feel any different. This stuff, you definitely, if you take a dose of it, you will definitely, just like if you drink that whole bottle of wine, you're definitely going to have a response. But if you drink a glass of wine, you're not going to have so much of a response.
Now, if you were a big fat guy like me and were interested in just easing some of those pains,
Yep.
how much of a gummy would I want to eat?
We always suggest, if you're a newbie, if this is not something you're used to and you know about, go home, have a light supper. Don't be driving. Don't be on the ladder. Don't be cleaning grandma's fine china. Find some TV show or music or something that, you like, and take one. And then see what happens. And some people, one is the perfect amount. It just gives them a comfortable evening. Takes about an hour to kick in. And some people find that they need two. I kind of think they're previous users. And then we have a lot of people that are saying, I'm really glad I did that one time, but I'm finding that a half of one is just the right amount for me. Okay. Because it's just like, and again, I tie it back to drinking wine. In the old days, until I kind of quit, if I went out to a nice dinner with someone, certainly I'd have 3, maybe even 4 glasses of wine, assuming I'm not driving. That was kind of regular for me for dinner. But now that I've been 4 years of almost no alcohol, I find that 1 glass of wine is all that I need through a multi-course dinner. Matter of fact, that's why I'm a bad candidate for the free booze package on the ships. Yeah. It's just way better for me to get the best deal that I can get and then just buy a bottle of wine and have them bring it to me and have my 1 glass of wine with my dinner. Because, and in the old days, I was in the mimosas for breakfast, a little something before lunch, wine with lunch, an afternoon cocktail, a pre-dinner cocktail, 3 glasses of wine, 2 after dinner, later in the evening drinks, and the nightcap. That would have been my regular cruise day. And now it's like, maybe if I just meet friends and there's a reason, I'll have a fruity drink, at some point in the top of the day, and I'll have a glass of wine with dinner.
Yeah.
So, and it's kind of the same with the products. It really kind of parallels.
I'm much the same way. I don't drink any, as much as I tease about it and talk about it. I don't drink anywhere near as much as I used to. This last cruise, okay, I paid for my drinks because I know I can't drink the drink package. And I think all I had was a $25 onboard credit.
Okay.
It may have been a $50 onboard credit, but
sure,
it was either 25 or $50. And I mean, there were a couple other things that were expenses during the week on my account. I don't remember exactly what they were, but they were not bar bills. There were a couple other things.
Sure.
And my bill for the cruise was $114. And I didn't miss out on anything. Now, that was unusually light for me.
Yeah, yeah.
It's normally a little more than that, but still, nothing like I used to do. Just nothing like you just laid out, because I was that way or more probably.
Well, that was, when if you're young and alcohol is your friend, and and that's not, to me, that's not a drinker. A drinker sits and drinks 6 scotches in a row, bang, 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 over a couple hours. And we never did that. It was all social and it was all, fun. But I can tell you that was kind of my regular day when I was transatlanticing, and the liquor was within with part of the cabin charge. And that's why I'm really happy that ships have a stripped down, no benefits, no perks cruise fee, because that's the new me.
Yeah.
And 10 years ago, I'd have said, you got to be crazy. I mean, I'm kicking off in this world with a pina colada in my hand, just like I came into this world. But hey, the years go by, and I find more joy in staying in my mind all the time now. So
I was just checking to see if we have anybody over in the chat room. Katie's with us. Where is Martin? He flaked out. Nikki's with us. Hi, Nikki. Oh, yeah.
That's Martin. He just flew away.
Hot Air Tom said spices, loads of horseradish. I have to tell you what Hot Air Tom did. He had, it wasn't prime rib. I don't remember what
Ribeye
it had.
steak?
It might have been the porterhouse steak he had.
Okay, that's a big
in the steakhouse. Yeah, it was a nice, good size steak. And he ordered horseradish for it. And he slathered, and I like horseradish. Yeah, porterhouse steak, he just said. He slathered horseradish all over that steak. I mean, it wasn't just like a little dip of horseradish, which I do for my, it was like if you were putting heavy mayonnaise on a sandwich. Okay.
You mean like extreme peanut butter, PB&J, peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah. Only it was horseradish on a steak, and ate it. And I mean, he didn't explode.
Well, the good news is horseradish is almost as good as this stuff for your body. It's got all sorts of nutrients, antioxidants, micro things. Horseradish is really good for the human, but I only like it in tomato sauce with shrimp cocktails.
Yeah.
To me, that is the perfect place. They're the right tomato sauce base, and then a little horseradish, and the shrimp flavor to me just meld together like something wonderful.
Yeah, he won't eat shrimp.
Because
I had his shrimp a couple times. I didn't mind. I'm real good for handouts when it comes to shrimp. So, but I've never seen anybody slather horseradish.
Slather and horseradish usually don't go together.
Yeah, no.
So anyway, you cruise now. You haven't flown yet. Now, how many sail? Is this the third time you've got on a ship without?
Oh no, it's more than that. Let's see. I drove to Port Canaveral and did 2 cruises. Drove to Galveston and did 2 cruises.
Okay.
Then back to Virginia. Then I drove to Miami.
Yeah.
And did 2 cruises. So 6 and back home. And then back to Miami for this one for 1 cruise. So 2, 4, 6, 7 cruises I've done without flying. And next week I'm going to be on Wonder of the Seas, which will be 8 cruises without flying.
Wow.
And I'm hoping to the rest of the year not to fly. I don't like driving.
No, I totally get it. And I think that's amazing. Now you've done 7 or 8 cruises and you have not gotten on an airplane. And that's just, that's amazing to me. Of course, you live much closer to the boat departures
than you do.
Than I do. And that's, hey, Jack, 94. Yeah, it's about 94 here. Alex, what's the temperature here?
What was that? 17 degrees.
How many?
17.
No. Yeah, but think about it. 17 degrees is like 50 if it's in Celsius. So that's just not right.
31.
Okay, but it can't be 30. It's hot outside. It's summertime. It can't be 31 degrees. I think that your weather app is stuck on February 25th.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Hi, Jack. Yeah, it's hot in Texas.
It's hot here too. I mean, there's just a heat wave across the Midwest that is just, causing people to get on ships anywhere they can, and that's wonderful. So,
well, I hope to go out to my pool this afternoon. Amanda had complained that the water was cold, and I didn't get back out there the first day I was back, so I went out yesterday and checked it. No, it was unplugged. So it had
Wait a minute,
my
now when you
heating.
say unplug, the motor that circulates the water through the radiator that attracts the sun will shine.
Yeah, my solar heating system had been unplugged while I was gone. So of course the pool was cool.
Duh.
So I plugged it back in yesterday. So I'm going to go out after the show and test the pool and see if it's warm enough for me to get in it again. So
Love it.
anyway, so it's good to see Jack. Haven't seen Jack for a while. Hope you're trust you're feeling better, Jack. The gentleman that I interviewed yesterday, Bubba Schumard, is actually having a heart catheterization today.
Oh my goodness.
So I sent him a message this morning to let him know I was thinking about him.
Uh-huh.
And
And we might have a customer coming in. If they park out in front of my store, there's only me. So you might have to do a little solo chatter here for a couple.
well, that's if it happens, it happens. I can do a soft shoe. That's no problem. It was interesting this morning. You're talking about your transatlantic that Royal Caribbean actually has 8 transatlantics scheduled here in the next 2 months.
But how many could you take? I mean, don't they all go at once, sort of, or could you?
No, they're spread out. They're spread out over.
And come back and go across and. I mean, you could.
I mean, they don't come back.
Oh, it's all westbound.
Fly. Yeah, it's all westbound. It's all
Right.
cruises, ships that have been in.
And I'll be back.
It's all ships that have been in Europe, and they're all heading over to the States. And Royal Caribbean released protocols specifically for the transatlantics, which are still reasonably strict as far as protocols go these days. They're not, they're not dropping anything. They're requiring to be vaccinated. There's stipulations on pre-cruise testing, but still, on my show this morning, I went through all the new protocols for those 8 transatlantic cruises. Now, that's not all the cruises. It's just those 8. So if you want to catch up on those, you might hop over and see my show. Watch the replay of it, at least. Hot Air Tom says, I love shrimp, but it must be hot, not cold. Yeah, that's right. He did say that. Jack says, I see dos amigo. Cuando es tres amigos. Well, Martin is getting ready to go on a cruise, but I think it's tomorrow. So he just flaked off. Now he said he was busy. Sorry, he had to miss the show. So he will now have missed 3 in a row because we missed 2 weeks, which was mostly my doings. But anyway, we're back for now. So, but I'm not sure actually what Mark is doing, other than he just sent me a message that he would not be with us today. And I do know he's getting ready to go on a cruise. So it's interesting that John has the guitars on the wall. I was surprised to see that. So that was good. And he is taking care of business in the store. And it looks like he may be making a sale, which of course that's always a good thing. That John makes a little bit of money. So I do know he had one sale already today because I was there when that happened. He's putting his headset back on, and so he's going to come back and join us as soon as he gets it in the ears and he gets ready.
How about now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
What a really nice lady, a repeat customer, and also her husband is now not taking one of his opiates for restless leg syndrome. under a doctor's approval, however.
I find it interesting, and all the grief I give you about being a pot seller and growing pot and all that business is most of your customer base are like senior citizens.
That's correct. Age-wise, they're almost all over 50. And then there's that little group of, stoners, as you might think of them. But most of the people are just regular people that I run into at, whether it's, at the grocery store or buying a bottle of wine or in church. They're just regular people that have found that this now being legal helps them in so many ways. And it's just really neat. Yeah.
I probably will always give you a hard time just because
I hope
like
you do,
giving
because
you a hard time.
my mom and dad, if it was possible for them to do circular motions in the small chamber that they are hiding out in underground, if you get my drift there, they just wouldn't believe this. But on the other hand, Chillie, my family came here in 1880, and in 1904 we were one of the first families that started raising sugar beets. And the reason wasn't to make money or anything. The reason was because it was a row crop. So you killed the weeds in between. That was the whole thing, is a row crop, whatever it might be, was really good because it started to wipe out the wild oats, the mustard seeds, the other things we didn't want. That was the reason for getting into a row crop. But it turned out, of course, to be one of the biggest and most successful crops in the world. In 1960, a large family, a moneyed family in town, started the sunflower business when sunflowers first hit. And our families were the first families to contract with them to grow sunflowers and deliver them for them to put into food, bird seed, bedding from the sunflower hulls, all these other things. And so it's just logical that, 4 years ago, Casey, my business partner, and I were one of the first people in the region to start growing hemp, and now the first people in 100 and some miles to have this store to help folks out. And I just feel that I'm following an agricultural, and it's funny, of all the things that my family has raised, sugar rots your teeth. Hard red spring wheat gives you, what was the psychosis? It gives you cancer of the colon and schizophrenia. Barley makes beer, and we know how many people have driven their car off the road because of beer. All these things that my family has historically raised. This is actually the first one that is a healing, comfort-giving, so, and they all, for 140 years, they went to church every Sunday and prayed for rain, so.
Yeah.
So I just feel, and it's a little melancholy and whatever, but I feel that I'm continuing a 5-generation family tradition, and that I really am doing good for people. And if that doing good means that there's a few percentage that sort of misuse it or mistreat the product, I don't care.
Yeah.
Because, I wish I could have just, had that, I wish I could have left the mic open for you and you could have heard her story. She's just saying, this has helped my husband more than you can imagine. And I can't imagine to have a spouse that you're sleeping next to and has that, kicking the leg all night long, and all of a sudden to have that go away. And wow. So sorry, I'm a missionary of I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I just believe in it so much. I'll go anywhere, any place, anytime to share the
He's a pot Bible banger. How's that for a new?
Loving it. I'm loving it.
Bible banger. Yeah. Jack, by the way, his 81st birthday is Saturday.
Wow.
So happy birthday, Jack.
Happy double 81, Jack. I only hope that I aspire to celebrate that many birthdays here on Earth, but that's awesome. That's really neat, Jack. And I know you've gone through a few things here in the last years we've known you, but you are here and you are with us, and we celebrate with you.
Yep. Jack and I have been through a lot of the same things. So, and both of us are still kicking. how do we go about getting Medicare to pay for this?
Well, that of course is going to be the next big jump, because of course when that happens, many things will change. But the
80th
other thing that will be,
anniversary of birth.
you know what the cost of some medicines are. You know what the cost it is for insulin and all these things.
Oh, yeah.
This is retail from my store, where we are more expensive because we are selling primo farm to your mouth tracking kind of stuff, is $2.50 a piece. So, I wonder how much people would pay if the price was higher for the success that they've had with it. Because, it really can't get any cheaper, because, to run a store, to manufacture it, to put it in a bottle, to ship it out, to have it in your store, to pay employees and insurance and rent and lights and everything, how can you get cheaper than, there's no aspirin store. There's no store anywhere in the world that just sells aspirin, because it's a commodity. And, and we're getting really close to being a commodity. I mean, when you think about it, it's $2.50 for one experience. You go to the bar, not you, but I mean an average person, jokingly he says, but what are you going to have? 3 drinks? Now they're more than $5 a drink. If you're on a ship, they're $10 a drinks. You're in for $15 to $30, $2.50. Just dial BR 549
and get your bottled pot.
You do remember that number, right?
Of course, I know BR 549.
Junior Samples, wasn't it? Wasn't that his name? Junior on Hee-Haw.
On Hee-Haw, yeah.
Yeah, Junior Samples. Just dial BR 549.
Nikki says happy birthday to Jack also.
Yeah.
Nikki, how are you feeling? I didn't get a chance to ask you this morning. So see you're in the chat room and see how you're doing. Nikki's had some health problems recently too. And unfortunately for Nikki, she has one of these now too.
Oh, you guys are oxygen buddies?
Yep, we certainly are. And again, if any of you new guys are out there watching this, if I would get up and walk across the room, I'd have that on. I cannot do it without. I went to the door. Oh, it was right after my show today. My oxygen delivery guy had come, and he hadn't. I told him on the phone just to come open the door and come in. So I was afraid that the door was locked, but I knew Amanda went out this morning, so I figured it was unlocked. But he hadn't come in, and it was 4 or 5 minutes. It was right at the end of the show. So I jumped up and I just took the oxygen off and walked into the living room to open the door to make sure he could get in, and walked back in here. And I was dizzy from lack of oxygen. So I just can't, I'm okay sitting still. But boy, if I'd walk at all, I got to have the oxygen on now.
Okay.
So.
But just 2 drops of my magic elixir twice a day, and before you know it, you'll be an Olympic competitor.
I'm just thinking that I need to try the Gummy Bears.
Well,
I don't like Gummy Bears. I don't like candy.
We can make that happen.
I would try that and see how. Yeah. I mean, mainly, most everybody that watches me knows that I need to have a knee replaced, and they won't do it till I lose 35 pounds. And losing 35 pounds in me, that ain't gonna happen. No matter what I do, I can't lose weight. It just doesn't, No, on cruises, I eat better on cruises than I do here, but I'm reasonably balanced, and I don't eat humongous quantities of food anymore. I eat a reasonable amount of food.
Mhm.
Yeah, I do have a dessert at dinner, but I don't like,
But
if
that's
I go to,
sugar. That's sugar from the Reitmeyer Farms in the middle of Minnesota. So
yeah, I know them damn beets.
That's a
They're
free
bad
pass.
for me because I eat desserts with beet juice. I never knew that I had to have beets on everything, but I do. And I actually, like if I go grab a hamburger on a cruise ship at lunch, I do not have dessert.
Good.
Yeah. And I really enjoyed the fruit on Norwegian. Of course, I've said this several times, folks. I had not counted on the Norwegian sky being a cuisinical delight. Is that a good
Nice.
term?
Yes, cuisinic. Yes, that'd be a word.
Yeah, yeah.
Cuisinical. Yeah.
I wasn't looking for a good food experience. I was totally surprised and totally wrong. It's up there in the top 3 cruises I've been on in my life as far as food goes.
Wow.
Man, it was good.
And see, for me in Norwegian, the Jade was good, no complaints, but it wasn't spectacular.
Yeah.
The Star was bad. The temperature mostly, the temperature of the food in the buffet or served to me was, as a food business guy, it's like, boy, you should be shut down for that. I just don't know why that was. And it didn't improve even with some people complaining. And the Epic, I have always really liked the food on the Epic. And Cagney's, of course, the steakhouse, and the Brazilian steakhouse. I can't think of it, Chorisco or whatever. La Cucina, the Italian place, to me is you got to order the right things. Like, to me, the pizza is not outstanding at all, and pasta is pasta. But you can get a filet steak in the Italian restaurant, and it's awesome. It's unbelievably good with a couple of lobster raviolis with it, and so. But there again, now I'm watching again in the chat rooms, and there's people that are dissing MSC about their food left and right, but it's always with I heard the food on MSC is bad, and then people saying, "Did you try it yourself?" You've been on MSC once now, twice,
3
times on MSC.
Yeah.
And on a scale of 1 to 10, where was the food?
Where was the food? On a scale of 1 to 10, 8.
So 7, 8. I mean, how can you?
Yeah.
Folks, we got to remember we're getting these cruises for, if it was the equivalent of a New York cab, it would be dirty. Somebody would have puked in it. The windows would be broken out, and you'd be driving through the hood. I mean, that's how cheap we're getting these cruises for. And then we're whining because it's not $250 a night gourmet meals every night. I mean, I like I said, all my cruises, and MSC was as good or as better than the rest. I only had that one experience on the transatlantic on the Star that I thought that the food was. But, I didn't lose any weight, I might point out. In the whole trip, I didn't lose an ounce. So, I guess I found what I needed. But it wasn't what I'm used to.
Hot Air Tom points out that I had more desserts than he had. And that's probably true because he rarely ate desserts. And I did at most dinners. Now, an interesting thing about since we're talking about the sky, La Cucina is during the day, it's the pizza buffet.
Oh, okay.
Okay. At night, when it's La Cucina restaurant, it's different pizza.
Uh-huh.
I did not care particularly for the daytime pizza. When we ate there at night, I ordered something else. Hot Air Tom and Cindy split a pizza, and they had a piece left, and I got to eat that. And it was 100 times better than the daytime pizza.
Yes, and that's, I'm sure that's across the fleet, because the pizza in La Cucina at night is their custom made, and it's not bad. Again, we're picking straws here. It isn't bad. It just is, and I'm, I make my own pizza. I have a rotating dome pizza oven at the farm. So, I'm a pretty particular pizza guy, even though there are 5 different kinds of pizza too, I mean, but again,
whoa, time out. We got to back up on that one now.
okay.
5 different kinds
I
of
think
pizza.
in the world there are 5 kinds of pizzas.
Well, I
Okay.
could think of hundreds, but tell me what your 5
but
are.
they fall into 5 categories.
Okay. What are the 5 categories?
Well, you got your New York style thin crust, which is, just really, really thin, as thin as it can be, because speed is their whole thing. They got to get that out to you fast.
And you
Then
flip it up in the air and you roll it out.
Yeah, but it's rolled out or pressed out really thin, and it has pretty much minimal everything on it.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you got your Domino's basic, whether it's Domino's, Papa John's, Happy Joe's, whatever the chains are, numero uno, kind of basic pizza that has a little thicker crust, a little more things on it, toppings and everything like that.
And that's because they don't know how to flip them in Domino's.
Well, yeah, they don't. Yes, and
Pizza Inn, you flip them, because I used to work at a Pizza Inn and I could flip them.
But here, the Domino's in my town, it's all because they go through the whole staff every 2 weeks. But I can't order there right now. Every time I try, I'm disappointed. Then you got your deeper dish thing that's sort of like Chicago can be in that too, but it's it's put in a pan with sides and it rolls up the sides, and there's everything like that. Then you have your stuffed pizza, which has a crust on the top, which there was a time at a place called DeRoma's in San Diego, but the man has passed away and the family shut it down. They had the most incredible 2-crusted pizza you have ever had in your life, because they bake the meat before they put it on the pizza. So it wasn't like, bacon and certain other things have to have the Maillard effect to put that crust, that bark on the outside of the meat. When you put that inside a pizza, that don't happen because it's all steamed. And their meats went into the oven first and got that beautiful crusty, just like, breakfast sausage feeling on the outside. Then it got put into the pizza and baked in the pizza.
Okay.
Unbelievable. And then your 5th kind is all that other crap that people call pizza, but it don't count at all. Because there's so much junk on the market now. It's just, and in the store, I don't know about your store, but in my town of 8,000 people, there's 2 grocery stores. Walmart is one, and then a private one. And they have, a line of freezers 80 feet long with 400 kinds of pizza in it.
Yeah.
And I have actually sampled it from one end to the other, and I'm just disappointed time after time after time after time. So, Mike says it's a calzone, but they're also, there's also double crusted pizzas that are not the fold over calzone.
Yeah, it's not quite a calzone, but it's similar. I have had the 2-layered pizza before too.
But come to my house, make a plan, come and stay here. On a nice day, we'll have you out to the farm. We'll have the picnic table set up right at the end of the dome oven, and I'll just be I make, like, when I'm doing that, they're about 5-6 inches each one. And they make 2 turns on the pizza thing, by the way. They're done. I put it in and it goes around, and then I kind of shimmy it a little bit and it goes around again and it's done.
What's the time frame?
2 minutes and 30 seconds, 2:40 maybe. I wouldn't have believed it myself. And my pizza oven can go up to 1,500, but we found that like 850 is the right, seems to be the right temperature where there's time. If it's much hotter, the crust will like burn a little bit. You don't get any benefit. If it's a little slower, then you'd have to, a little lower, you'd have to go around, more times. We found like 850 is the right temperature, and then twice around. And then maybe if it's not quite done because the guy put too much cheese on or something, I'll just slide it back and it'll get another quarter turn. Yeah.
Yeah, Mike's is amazing. I think it's amazing too. Nikki says Neapolitan Sicilian. That's what I was thinking in terms of.
Well, Neapolitan, of course, Napoli, supposedly the home of pizza, and that's just tomato sauce, buffalo mozzarella, and fresh basil. And if you really want to do that right, you can't have the basil in there the whole time because it'll get toasted. You got to put the basil on for the last third of a turn. So, yeah.
Ronnie says, yeah, come on over. John's food is awesome. That's how I gained 60 pounds.
He's actually gained about 400 pounds, but he distributed it among all his friends.
I understand. And by the way, Nikki says she's got to go in for more tests. I'm sorry, Nick. I really am. I was hoping you get done with all that crap soon.
I hope you do too. But on the other hand, we live in a time when we have more sophisticated, quality, successful medicine than ever before in history, no matter how much we kind of like maybe, are unhappy or bitch and moan a little bit. But we do really live in a time when, doctors know more now than they've ever known. They have more tools at hand, both physical things and chemistry things. So,
and Nikki, maybe I'll order some gummy bears and test them out and let you know if you need.
Why don't we do a live night one night? Why don't we'll do an evening cruise amigos, and we'll have Chillie there, and we'll just see what happens.
Why does it have to be at night? I'll do it in the afternoon.
Well, but I think if we pitched it, we'd get more people to watch and tune in and
yeah, but see, our night here is the middle of the night for all of our buddies in Europe.
Then you make the arrangements. I'll provide the product, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think.
Oh, I think Ronnie says with a Shrek marathon on the TV.
I would do that.
Wonderful. And in the morning, I'm making waffles.
Yeah, I would. Yeah. Because I do know the CBD capsules. I don't feel a thing.
Right. That won't affect your day-to-day, minute by minute.
I mean, and I certainly can't say that they're have anything to do with the reason of that my health is on the upward trend. But it is, and I have been so. Now, I have been taking some other things as well.
You've been following your doctor's orders?
I have been following my doctor's orders.
Yep.
And I have done a little bit extra. But to come up with a PSA of 0.6 after I was in the red zone and given the possibility of 6 to 9 months to live, that was 60 days ago. It's definitely on the upswing. So, and now,
And now we went over an hour. Can you believe it? Without Martin.
Oh, good heavens, we did. Holy cow, I'm not even watching the clock. And I always watch the clock. Mike says, count me in. All right, Mike, we're going to do this.
Hey, we're going to do that. Let's take a couple of weeks and pitch it and plan it. And
because
I'm going other people.
I'm going to be on a boat next week.
I'll send product everywhere, and we can all have a group experience.
I will. Yeah, and if any of you wanted to part, of course, Mike's on the other side of the pond, so that's not going to work over there.
You're gonna have to find it over there, Mike.
But anyway, we can do that. And I'll be on Symphony of the Seas. I'll leave here on the 8th. So that's next Friday.
Well,
so I'll be here I'll be here Thursday.
And don't take any of these products. Do not even take the CBD products with you on a ship. Because
Yeah.
in some countries, they are considered contraband, and you can end up like that basketball lady over in Russia.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you've been warned.
All right, guys, that's going to wrap us up. Amazing that we killed an hour without even trying and not thinking about it. Glad you guys were all with us. We'll see you next time on the Cruise Amigos next Thursday afternoon. Later, y'all.